I call the honourable member for Cunningham.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to take the opportunity in the House today to pay tribute to two local constituents. Firstly, and very sadly, we recently lost a very dear and valued member of the Bulli-Woonona and Helensburgh branch of the Australian Labor Party, Eileen June Sands. She was known to many as Eileen, but to us in the Labor Party branches, she was known as June. Her relatives, in particular, I want to extend my sympathy in this place to her older sister Betty and her younger siblings Norman, Wally, Stephen and Julia, and she sadly lost her husband Owen in 1986. She very much loved her sons Steve and Nick, and that love was extended to their partners Kate and Laura. Her grandkids Emily, Rose, Henry and Lily were the light of her life. Indeed, Emily spoke beautifully at her nan's funeral, relaying stories of sleepovers at nan's, spinach pies and keno at the pub. June was passionate about politics. She was passionate about the left of politics, and she was a passionate unionist. And above all, she desired an Australia that was fair to all. She was a formidable opponent, as I know, in any political argument. She was very passionate, and she could not see how anyone could have a different and less compassionate opinion than her own. She will be very sadly missed by the members of the Bulli-Woonona and Helensburgh branch, particularly by Branch Secretary Alison Burns, who loved the collection of newspaper articles that she believed had unfairly criticised Labor, and she would bring along to branch meetings each month, demanding something be done. She was very, very passionate about animals, and she dearly loved her little dog Maddie, and many residents of Helensburgh fondly recall Betty, her sister and June walking their lovely little dogs through the streets of Helensburgh. One of my fondest memories of June was when she and Betty met with Peter Garrett at a Labor Party function in Wollongong. You might appreciate, I'll seek your indulgence with a prop here, Madam Speaker, because it'll make it clear to you why it brought so much laughter and joy to people at the funeral, because they fit very snugly under Peter Garrett's arms, and it was a lovely occasion to see them all together. Peter was obviously known for his height, and Betty and June were not. The photo was indeed a very, very valued one for her. She was an active member of WAVES, which is the local Widows and Veterans Entitlement Service, and in retirement she also taught English and life skills to refugees. She marched against the Vietnam War, the privatisation of electricity and work choices legislation. It was mentioned in her eulogy that June may have been tiny, but she was going to use every inch of her height to fight, as she said, to keep the bastards honest. Her son Nick says that she died during a ubiquitous news bulletin, which was so much part of her waking hours. They were showing a smiling Mr Abbott being sworn in. Nick has said she was no doubt thinking, well, if that guy's definitely in, I'm definitely out of here. We pay great respect to June, who will be sadly missed by all of us. And in the final amount of time, I also want to pay tribute to another Labor member, Chris Lacey. Chris joined the party in 2005 and he's president of the Thirroul branch, a delegate to our FECs and SECs. He has very strong support from his friends in the Labor Party, and this was demonstrated at a dinner where he was joined by his partner Karen Stevens to receive the New South Wales Labor Rank and File McKell Award, and this was held last Friday night. We joined him with members of the Thirroul branch, the Cunningham FEC and Kira SEC, and other guests including the branch president Paul Tuckerman and his wife Kay, and Ryan Park, the member for Kira. Also in attendance was Woody. Keith Woodward is a life member of the ALP. He joined 67 years ago in the 1920s, and he's worked at every election since. We counted them up, and that's 67 election campaigns in 67 years, 26 federal, 21 state and 20 local government. And I'm sure we all value people whose dedication to our parties reflect that sort of activity. But Chris had taken on the task of writing the branch history. And again, with indulgence, I just want to share with the House that he's produced a book called Illawarra Agitators. And it's a great story of 100 years of the Thirroul branch of the ALP. and it took an enormous amount of work on behalf of his local branch members, and it was very much valued and the reason for the particular award on the night. So it's sad news and happy news for some local constituents, Madam Speaker.